Hello, everybody. It's Anaya Patel, and I'm back with another podcast episode. And today I have brought back Miss Anaya Patel to the podcast, and we're going to be talking about the NBA because they released their new guidelines for play. So, Anaya, thank you for coming back onto the podcast.
Of course, I had a great time the first time. Happy to be here again.
Yeah, glad I didn't scare you too much. So, so they voted on the new NBA guidelines today, and they've agreed to have the whole shebang. So, I want to know, how do you feel about what they've set out?
I'm just happy that the NBA is coming back. I think it's been way too long without basketball or any sport. So that was my first thought. I was just like, I'm happy that they've come to a conclusion and they figured out what they wanted. But with the overall process and everything that they decided, I think it's a good format to do the 22 teams. So that way there's at least some sort of a chance for teams like the Blazers and the Pelicans to be able to make the playoffs, and then from there they move forward. And I like the idea. It's a different way that they're doing it from previous years, and maybe they go about some sort of way like this in the future.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool format. My only complaint about it is it's on such a short notice that for people like me who love to see like the mental side of the game, when your best players don't really know how the rules work because they have so many crazy rules they're trying to come up with. Like the number one seed usually has home field advantage, so they're trying to come up with a kind of rule to see how does, the higher seed get an advantage in the game. And they really don't have an idea about that right now. So the rules that they're going to come up with are going to be weird. It's going to feel a little gimmicky, and that's the thing. I think stars are really going to have to shine in the playoffs for us to really enjoy it, because we're not going to know. I think a lot of us would rather know what's going on in a game, and then in certain situations we're not going to know how it works, and it's always confusing when we don't know. But I agree. I'm just glad that basketball is back, and I think the format is pretty solid.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely going to be some weird parts of this whole process just because there's going to be so many what if scenarios that have already come up of what is going to happen. Like if this happens, if some teams tie, then how do you figure out seeding and all of that? But I feel like that's kind of the fun part of it, is the uncertainty that's going to come with what's going to happen, because it's going to be something new every day that we're going to figure out, that we're going to learn. And I assume that based on whatever they end up deciding by steps, based on seeding, based on how home field advantage works, for example, for the first seeds, they might end up implementing that into like a normal NBA season. So it'd be kind of cool to see how they learn from this and how they take each like situation on day by day. But overall, I'm just super excited. I think that even though it's going to be a weird setup, just because they're all like in one city,
Right.
they're all going to be in Orlando.
Yeah.
They're going to be in the same hotel rooms on like the same floors. That's going to be interesting, because that sort of mindset of, I guess with home field advantage and there's no fans, there's like a difference with it. But when you're all playing on one court and probably all these players are going to watch all the games play, it's
Right.
going to be very interesting to see how they interact with one another and how their mindsets are towards not only playing the game but outside of the game when it comes to how they interact with trying to keep away from getting the virus.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also curious on how, like you said, how this affects the future NBA seasons, because now next season will start December 1st. So does that mean every NBA season is going to start in the winter? Are they going to find a way to move it back? They're shortening next season, like how that's going to work? Because they've always talked about moving the season back a little bit. And it's just going to be interesting. This is a new kind of thing we have to deal with. I think we've all been used to, okay, basketball starts, and you got college football, then you got football, and then basketball goes through the summer. But now basketball starts more of the winter time. So it's going to be really cool to see like the impacts that this thing kind of takes over, not just this NBA season, but multiple NBA seasons.
Adam Silver did say that there's possibility that the season could shift to like this sort of time, and I think that'd be really interesting for it to start like in December every year. So I'm used to it starting earlier in the year, like after summer league and everything.
Right.
But I feel like maybe based on this, they might finally shorten the season from the usual 82 games, and they realize that maybe they don't need that much. So if they end up shortening the 2021 season to maybe, I don't know, 50 games, but that's probably not going to happen,
Right.
then they could start back up in their normal setting, in their normal schedule. But they also very well could just go with December 1st. It'd be really interesting to see, because when it comes to NBA seasons, it's not just when they play the games, it's also when they show the games on ESPN, ABC, all those things. They have to coincide with all the other games I've been playing with college and other professional sports. So there's a lot that goes into it. So it's really interesting to see how they have to collaborate with all of these other outside sources in order to get everything together.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to the playoffs. I'm glad that they're keeping it East and West. I did not want the 16 seed thing. People have been really excited about that, but I was like, it's just so weird. And like, if you're gonna do that, I want you to announce that like before the season starts. I don't think I don't know. It just didn't work for me.
Okay, for me, I honestly would love the 16 seed thing. I understand that if it's announced before the season, it's nicer so all the teams know. But I guess in this circumstance, there was no like
Right.
beforehand like warning, like, oh my gosh, this is gonna happen.
Hmm.
But I honestly would love the 16 seed thing because it makes we know the Eastern Conference is definitely weaker
Right.
in a sense compared to the Western Conference, and it's like unfair for Western Conference teams that have performed as well as like the sixth or the seventh seed in the East to not be able to make the playoffs,
Hmm.
which is like really disappointing when you look at it by games.
Yeah.
So I feel like the 16 seed allows it for the best teams to make the playoffs
Right.
and not just be like separated by conference.
Yeah. But see, then on that case, I was looking at the brackets for the 1 through 16 because it was intriguing. And when I looked at it, I was like, why? How did LeBron end up going? Like, he went to the Western Conference and then is still getting Eastern, like the weakest side of the bracket. Because you look at it, the Lakers' biggest threat on that side would be the Houston Rockets. And then the other side of the bracket, you got the Bucks, the Celtics, the 76ers, the Clippers. I don't know. It just, something felt off. And I don't know. I just think the history of the East and West thing. Maybe it's just me just like liking it. I have no idea, or maybe it's me being a Celtics fan and just wanting the Celtics to be able to make the finals.
Well, okay, as a Hornets fan, I'm already out. So like
But
my Hornets like dreams are they've never been existing of us making
thank you
it
for Kemba, by the
or
way.
farther. Okay, well, see, now I'm a Celtics fan because I was a huge Kemba fan,
Right,
and
right.
now since he moved to the Celtics, I'm a Celtics fan. So like I'm on your side with the whole East West thing,
Mhm.
especially when you look at like at a Celtics Lakers point of view.
Right.
But I feel like as we like continue moving forward, you gotta evolve, and I guess evolving out of the East and West thing is something that's gonna happen at one point. And like if the All Star game has kind of moved out of it, I feel like they're just paving the way for it to happen overall.
Yeah.
So I feel like it'll happen in the future. This could have been the perfect time for them to test it out,
Mhm.
but in the future I can see it happening. I'm just saying, and I'll be happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like if it's East and West, I don't know. I feel like it would be a harder choice to pick a winner. I feel like doing a bracket for that is much harder. And then when I did the 1 through 16, I have an episode on it. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It will be in the link. It was super easy to see that the Lakers just would have an easy road to get there, and it just seemed like the Lakers would be handed a trophy. But yeah, I can see evolving the game. The NBA does a really good job of evolving. They're always quicker to the knob. So we'll see on that aspect. But then I'm interested in these 6 teams that could compete for a playoff berth, right? So you got the Wizards, the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, the Suns, the Kings, and the Spurs. And how many teams? Those are like what? All on the West. The Wizards in the East, and then everyone
In the
else
East,
is in
all
the
five
West.
on West. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how they mix that in. That was kind of weird.
It was based on if you were 6 games or less outside of the eighth seed, then you were in like
Right.
in consideration for the
Yeah.
playoffs.
So that shows you
So
how much
like
stronger
the
the West
Hornets,
is.
yeah, the Hornets were like I don't know the exact number, but I'm gonna say they were like eight games out, so
Uh-huh.
they were like automatically disqualified from
Yeah.
making the playoffs.
Okay. So those teams would play the eighth seeds and like kind of a way to get in. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting. I actually kind of like that because those are like the borderline teams anyway. So I feel that'd be interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see because these teams may have the chance, but they also haven't played with each other in so long. It's
Yeah.
the last time they played each other was like the second week of March,
Yeah.
and it's been what 3 months since it's going to be over 4 months since
Mhm.
when they have played together when they start playing actual games in July 31st when they
Right.
start. So it's going to be interesting about how they're able to like cooperate and like come together because I feel like even in the regular season they're all together, but being apart for so long and not even playing basketball for that long, it's
Yeah.
definitely gonna inspire like a different playing style and a different like environment in
Mhm.
general, which is gonna be interesting because maybe a team like Phoenix can make the playoffs. Like I would be really excited if
Yeah.
like Devin Booker can make a playoff. I would be so happy for him in general. But it could be very interesting in general. Like these teams that thought they were locked in may
Hmm.
fall for
Right.
these
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
teams
Yeah.
that may just come together better. So it's really interesting about how they have to act like nothing ever happened and just like go back to their 100%
Mhm.
effort and like playing style.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if it's like I think that it's going to be the teams that knew like had an identity before the break that are really going to emerge. But it could be the teams with just the most athletes on the floor. Like I think the Clippers are going to struggle in their first couple series because they never played a full like the whole team never played together and they never figured things out. And they have a great coach in Doc Rivers and great players. But when you don't know how your roster fits together, you don't know. But their team is so good. So I'm curious. The Clippers are very interesting because the Lakers, they have their identity. It's LeBron and then AD. They know what they are. The Celtics, they figured it out. They got into a flow. The Clippers, I'm super interested because they never had all their pieces, their best pieces on the floor at one time to figure out what they wanted to do. And I'm sure they'll figure it out because really they have a bunch of role pieces than Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So I'm sure it's not going to be that big of a deal. But it could honestly, it could implode for the Clippers because I think they're the best team in the league. uh, I just think their whole roster is unbelievable, but it could really implode just because they haven't had that time together.
You're right. You're definitely right. And it's interesting that you bring up the situation with like players and how they're gonna like come together because there are gonna be some players who are gonna say no to this.
Hmm.
And say you have a team like the Clippers who are used to not playing with all of their pieces, but like a team like the Lakers that have been pretty set throughout the season, if a couple of their guys, maybe one or two of them say that no for like health reasons or like personal reasons or whatever reason they have, they might say no to playing. That
Yeah.
could definitely impact their chemistry, the way
Hmm.
that their like plays run and everything. So it's gonna be like different how everything is gonna go because I know that some players are immunocompromised. Some of them have already had the virus, and maybe they might say no to being able to possibly spreading it even more, whatever thing they have.
Yeah.
But it's going to be really interesting to see just
Yeah.
like how each little detail will come together because there's so much that goes into being a championship winning team, and like one little thing can shatter that whole
Yeah.
mindset and that motivation.
Yeah. There's eight regular season games before the playoffs kick off. So, what players decide to do in those 8 games or how, if everyone wants to play, how the team kind of molds together. Those 8 games I think are gonna tell us a lot about who is
Mm-hmm.
really gonna win because you'll see players who are in shape, players who are out of shape, players who are flowing together and still have that chemistry, or just teams that just don't know what the heck is going on. I think those 8 games are gonna be very telling for the playoffs.
Those 8 games are going to be the most important 8 games they've probably played in
Yeah.
like years. Like besides like finals games, I guess.
Right.
Those 8 games are going to tell us everything about each and every team, and all the weaknesses, all their strengths are going to easily come out, especially when they're in the same like
Hmm.
building every 24/7, and they're going to be all quarantined together, I guess, in
Yeah.
a sense. So they're going to see every little thing that everyone else does. So those 8 games are really going to be make the difference in terms of what teams are able to do and what they're not able to do.
Hmm.
But I wonder how teams like Dallas and Memphis are thinking because they're like the 7-8 in the
Right.
Western Conference, and when they have 5 other teams vying for like those spots, you'd say.
Hmm.
I wonder what they're feeling right now.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I feel it's gonna favor those number 1 and 2 seeds a lot, just because the 8 seeds gonna have to go and play for their lives, especially in the West. The Lakers, I think, are gonna favor because you're gonna get teams that maybe are beat up, or you get to scout them before you have to go out and play them for a series. And Dallas was a team that I was looking at that could make some destruction. I felt like they could take the Lakers a couple, like 6, 7 games, just because that offense is very scary. But when you have to go and play like we said, the Devin Booker, or Zion, or any of those guys, and really have to fight in the series, then that maybe takes away what you're going to be able to do in that next series.
For sure. And I mean, injuries, there's gonna be so much that will go into it. And
Hmm.
from like little things like injuries, like if one of these players gets injured, like I don't really know what's gonna happen because if they're injured, I would say pretty much the season is over at that point
Right.
because they're probably gonna take even more caution bringing players back just
Yeah.
because of this new format and everything.
Yeah.
But this I just I'm like very intrigued by everything,
Yep.
and it's so like interesting to like read it and all. And it's only been like an hour and a half since they've released all
Exactly.
of this, so I knew that like later on today, players are gonna make statements about what they believe, they not believe, and I was really like surprised by the fact that the Blazers were the only team who said no to
Yeah,
this
I was really surprised.
proposal
Well,
because Damian
honestly,
Lillard had come out and said that he doesn't want to play meaningless games. He only wants
yeah.
to play if he gets the opportunity to make playoffs. And this proposal would have given him and the Blazers the opportunity to make the playoffs. So I was wondering what was going through like the coaching staff and the like had
Yeah.
the owners and everyone's mindset when they said no.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't Damian Lillard going in contract year this year? Maybe that's why try to take a like because if he makes a run, I mean that money goes way up. But yeah, I don't even know if that's true. I I don't know what his contract expires or not. But yeah, that was surprising to see that. I wasn't shocked to see that only one team did. I was shocked to see a team actually like declined it because I figured all teams would be into it because the teams that are on the fringe that really have a shot to make some playoffs if they had more games will have a chance to do that. You'll get a playoff series, you'll get an NBA championship, and you'll get a season. You'll get basketball, and I thought everyone would be on board with that. And teams who were obviously not going to make the playoffs, they're not going to be there at all. They had stars had to align like the Charlotte Hornets. Stars had to align for them to do anything. So I thought a lot of teams would really enjoy it. I thought every team would say, yeah, this is, we just want basketball. And I figured that's what the whole situation would be.
Honestly, I thought that there would be at least two or three teams that would say no.
Yeah.
I thought that teams maybe like the Hornets or the Pistons who were like out of the mix might have said no because they would have been like, well, we want to play too. I
Yeah.
honestly felt like one of those teams would say no, but I feel like it's a good thing that they didn't. It shows that the NBA is bigger than each team itself, and
Yeah.
they're looking at it from a holistic perspective of all 30 teams and how they like accepted the fact that like they don't really deserve to move on or like be
Yeah.
able to play more games, but also having 30 teams in Orlando would be really
Yeah.
difficult. At least cutting it down by 8 teams and then after 8 regular season games, taking out 6 more teams from that mix.
Hmm.
It'll be better having less people, but there's
Yeah.
still going to be a lot of people there, just from teams to coaching to staff from the hotels and
Yeah.
everything in general. There's a
Yeah.
lot that they're
A
going to have
lot
to
of
make sure it
people.
goes right.
Yep. Yeah. Have you seen the memes where they were talking about I'm LeBron and you're watching the NBA on Disney Channel, like the old when they used to have the
No, but
wands?
I can imagine it. Oh my gosh,
Dude, that would be
we should do
awesome.
that.
I know that would be so much fun. That's some 2000s throwbacks right there. I feel like that'd be great. I mean, your audience is basically in the 2000s, and now you're catering back to them. I feel that'd be awesome. You're in Disney World. Why not do it? No, but could you
They
imagine?
should really
Yeah, go ahead.
they should really take advantage of the fact that they're in
In
Disney
Disney
World.
World,
Like
yeah,
I would say that just do random things, like go ride roller coasters. Because even though Disney has opened up, I guess not a lot of people would go just because there's a lot of
yeah,
precautions and masks, and you're still not probably 100% safe going. I'm not even sure these players will be allowed to go to Disney,
yeah,
but they should really take advantage of the fact of where they are and the fact that they're in Orlando
hmm,
and they're in ESPN's like complex and everything. I feel like there's a lot of fun that they can have
yeah.
with the fact that they're stuck in one city and they're in just like the Disney World, like literally.
Yeah. I feel like the NBA has a chance to market and really branch out to the younger generations who maybe they would rather watch a football game or they'd rather watch a soccer game. Now you have this chance, like this is a platform where, kids look at Orlando not because it's a sports channel, but because it's Disney. So now you have a chance, I think, to outreach to more to bigger audiences and to younger audiences to keep the game growing. And I think also find new ways to grow the game, especially in the ESPN headquarters and see what they're doing down there as well.
Oh yeah, I think a big part of basketball is making it like run through generations. Like
Yeah.
when you watch sports, usually like your parents watch sports, like your older siblings or whatever. So you start watching it and then you watch it so like your kids or younger siblings, whoever watches it. So I feel like being in Disney, they have a lot of marketing and they have a lot of opportunity. And if
Yeah.
they use it well, it can go so far.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to revenue, the fact is that the NBA is like the first like besides soccer leagues in like Europe, the NBA is like the first like big well, not tournament, but like big league to open back up.
Open
So
back
they're
up.
gonna get a lot of revenue from just
Yeah,
people watching because there's gonna be nothing else on TV.
right. Like we talked about last week. Or-
Yeah.
yeah. Could you imagine Zion Williamson getting in the playoffs?
Okay. After Celtics fan, I'm a huge Falcons fan just because they have like
Yeah.
10 million
Duke
Duke
fan
players on
right
their
here.
team. Huge Duke fan, right? So Pelicans are just stacked with Duke players, which is why they're like my second favorite team in the league.
Right.
So if I'm rooting for anyone during those 8 regular season games, it's gonna be the Pelicans.
Dude,
Because Zion had like just come back, he was just building that chemistry with Lonzo, with everyone else.
right.
And if the season continued out to all 82 games, I would totally have seen them make the playoffs. And Zion would have made a really good run for Rookie of the Year against Ja.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see how the two of them, Ja and Zion, go at it with each other if they end up playing. But also just the Pelicans in general, as such a young team, if they're able to make the playoffs in this setting, it would be awesome.
Brings so much money in. Zion is just such a marketing tactic. Like he's larger than life. Oh my God, he is unbelievable.
I met him before. Oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
man is. You met him too. Like
Yeah, I came to
he's
the
just
gas
something
station.
else. Like
He's so like he's such a humble kid. Like it's unbelievable. And then the way he plays, it's so much fun. There's no finesse about it. He's going right at you. He's gonna have this big smile on his face, and he's gonna
his
dunk right on
smile
top
is
of you.
perfect. Yes.
Like you expect him to have that Dennis Rodman kind of growl. He has the biggest smile as he's dunking right on you or giving you or rejecting the ball 13 stands back. Like it's. Do you remember that block? I don't even remember who they played,
Yeah.
but from the corner three, he's like chasing down and.
I can see it in my head. I don't remember who they're playing, but I can see like the ball
Yeah.
just go to the stand. But Zion, you can see, is just like that little kid who just smiling, who just
Yeah.
loves to play basketball. And I feel like that feeling will come out in a lot of players. Like I guess being in Disney, you get that little kid vibe.
Zion
I
at
guess because
Disney
it's like
World?
Mickey
Are
and
you
Minnie
kidding
and
me?
everything. But I feel like these players are really gonna be
Yeah.
just happy when they're playing. They're not. I think there's gonna be less like technical fouls. I think fouls are gonna be like at a minimum.
Really?
Because at this point, I really think so. Because the fouls, they'll be like normal fouls, I guess, but I don't think they'll be like full-on fights or anything. Because I think they just want to be like, let's just play some basketball.
Yeah,
like, we don't need to argue about it.
Yeah, I feel that first game is gonna be such a clean game. Like everyone's just gonna be It's not gonna be the most interesting game because everyone's gonna be rusty, but it's gonna be such a like clean game to watch. And I think by the time the playoffs start, you'll get like the first like real actual NBA basketball, but it'll still be like a cleaner game. It's gonna be so much fun. Zion and Disney World just makes me so happy. I don't know why. That image just made me so happy. Him with Mickey and Minnie right here. Oh my goodness.
I cannot wait until everything starts.
Yeah.
It's all being hyped up. All these players are gonna be really into it. And I mean, they'll be there like the first week of July because they'll start training camp and everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'll definitely like build up. Like the hype better come through. Like all this, like I'm really hoping for a lot. And I know that's a lot to ask, especially since everything is happening that is new.
Right.
But I'm really hoping that the NBA, Adam Silver, who has a great mind about what he's doing, he really understands from a player's perspective and like a fan's perspective and as like the head of the NBA perspective.
Yeah.
Like he really is able to combine those three and really give us
best
what
commissioner
want.
out there. Best commissioner
for
out there.
sure. No ats at anyone.
Yeah, Roger.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
Patriots fans always gonna hate Roger Goodell. So, continue. My bad.
No, you're good. But yeah, I'm really excited for basketball.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's been a long wait. It's been what was it March 2nd that they canceled?
Whenever Rudy
Gobert, yeah. I'm interested in the Jazz. That reminds me, I'm so interested in that dynamic of the Jazz because they were a team that I really liked.
Mitchell and Gobert were
Yeah.
kind of like iffy after the virus, but I
they
feel
were
like they'll be able to make up.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Because I really liked what that team was becoming. I liked the identity they were building with those two guys. And I'm just really curious to see. I'm sure they will. They're professionals. I'm sure they won't affect their game too much. But I'm just I'm curious, maybe when Gobert has his next contract or Mitchell has his next contract, the clause or something, someone has to go somewhere because they don't want the other there. It's such an interesting dynamic to see what happens to the Utah Jazz.
I hope that they would have come together because Gobert and Mitchell are two very good players.
Yeah.
And if they're able to stay together, and if they're able to get maybe like a third piece in, or like something,
Absolutely.
or like get a couple of better role players, they could definitely win a championship in the next 2 or 3 years if they continue the way they are, and if obviously the Lakers maybe take a step back. But
I mean, LeBron. I don't know how many years LeBron has left on him. Like 5 years at the max. I feel like I don't see him going for 5 more years.
I feel like LeBron will go until Bronny gets the NBA.
Dude, that would be insane.
He'll play a season with Bronny, and then he'll call it a day.
That would be
honestly think he'll do that.
Could you
And I think he
imagine?
said it before.
Yeah, he said that's his ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was totally capable of doing it.
Oh my God, he put so much money into his body. I mean, yeah, he could definitely do it. That'd be insane. Could you imagine them on the same team or like LeBron having to defend Bronny and Bronny having to defend LeBron?
I feel like I don't know if okay. There's two different like parts of me who like want them to be on the same team and who don't want them to be on the same team. Because if they play against each other, it's super cool because it's like father son. But on the same team is also adorable if they like assist to each other, and it's like
for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So quick questions. Who's your rookie of the year right now?
Okay, Zion.
Okay,
even though he hasn't played enough games,
I asked the Duke's
like
fan, so I should have just expected that. I mean,
you're asking a biased point of view, I would say. Okay, in my head, I feel like I know Ja's gonna win just because he has played more games, so he has more to show. But if Zion was able to play the whole season, or if he was at least able to play like
the end of
from
the
the point on to like the end of the normal NBA season, he would have won the season.
Yeah, I think Zion was really turning it up. So it's close. I'd still give it a job, but Zion was turning it up. I felt like if he had a couple more games under his belt, he could have definitely been up there. All right, who's your MVP?
Okay. I think LeBron deserves it.
Really?
I feel like there's a tad bit of LeBron that is a little bit underrated just because of he's LeBron James.
Yeah.
That kind of like mindset. Even though his stats are like super high, you expect it from him. It's not like MVP material, but for sure, I think he deserves it.
Yeah. I'm going to give it to Giannis. He's averaging more points a game, more rebounds a game. I just think like when the season was ending, Giannis still had a little bit of a margin. So as of right now, I'd have it Giannis. It's like this close. It's barely anything. But I think Giannis right now, he's been at the top of the conversation since day one. LeBron kind of jumped in towards the end, and I could see LeBron making a run and passing him. Like there's no doubt that he could definitely do that. But I'd give it to Giannis, and it's like history kind of where MVPs now have just kind of getting back to backs pretty much. Like you got Steph doing it. Russ didn't do it. Him and Harden kind of fought it.
Him and Harden, but they were both like
1 and 2 both years.
They kind of like gave it to like both of them.
Yeah. You got co-MVPs. I mean,
No, not a co-MVP.
Has that been done in the NBA? Have they had co-MVPs?
I don't think they've done a co-MVP.
Because I know there was in the NFL. Because Peyton Manning and Kurt Warner were co-MVPs one season.
I don't think they've done a co-MVP, and at least not since I was born. So.
All right, and who would you say is getting out the East and the West?
Okay. From the West, I really feel like it's going to be the Lakers. I feel like no one is going to be able to stop LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Okay.
I feel like they're too motivated. So from the West, it's the Lakers for sure. The East, I'm honestly torn between the Bucks and the Celtics. I don't think the Raptors are going to make it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be between the Bucks and the Celtics. I don't think I could pick one over the other.
Yeah.
I would hope for it to be the Celtics because the Lakers were Celtics in a final, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I couldn't pick one or the other for sure.
All right, they're
kind of like a toss-up for me.
Yeah, I got the Clippers and the Celtics getting out. I think the Clippers are the best team.
Are up there too.
Yeah, I just feel like they'll figure it out. The coach Doc Rivers, he did it in Boston. He'll do it in LA. You got Kawhi. The thing is Paul George. Paul George is a question mark. He hasn't shown up in the playoffs these past couple seasons, getting knocked out by Dame Lillard in the first round at OKC, and then in Indiana didn't really do much in the playoffs after he lost to LeBron. But I do think that combo with the role pieces that they have there and Patrick
Mhm.
Beverly, they have 3 guys who can go guard LeBron,
Oh
and one
yeah.
of them is Patrick Beverly, and then you can still
Mhm.
have Marcus Morris out. Like there's so many
Mhm.
pieces that they have. I feel that they're gonna be fine. And with the Celtics out east, I don't know. I just think the Bucks. I think Giannis is is so great, but if I'm the Celtics, I can have 4 guys on Giannis. Right? I can have Jason Tatum on him. I can have Enes Kanter on him. I can have Daniel Theus on him. And I can have that Robert Williams kid who comes in and plays
Mhm.
really good defense. I have 4 guys who I can rotate and keep fresh. And if I just make Giannis do it by himself, I don't think what's his name? Thaddeus. I forgot his last name. Yikes.
Young.
No, it might not have been
Um,
Thaddeus. It's the really big guy. It's the other center down
Taco
there.
Fall.
No, 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 not for the Celtics.
Oh,
For the Bucks. It's the other big
oh,
guy.
the Bucks.
Yeah,
Oh, Chris
Chris
Middleton.
Middleton. I don't know why I said Thaddeus. It's Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton. I just haven't seen it from him when I watch him. So I think the Celtics will come out, and I think the Clippers will come out.
I don't think I would be upset by that finals either.
Yeah.
At this point, I can't. I don't really think I can judge a team based on what they had done,
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
February and March, because I think these eight regular season games, then I'll be able to make more
Right.
decisions
Yeah,
about who I feel like is gonna make
that's gonna be
playoffs or
the
not, or like
so
who's gonna win.
so
Not
who
win.
would you have winning your finals though?
Winning. I want an Eastern Conference team to win so bad, so I hope it's an Eastern Conference team. I don't care
But
if
do
it's the
you
Bucks
think it's gonna be
or
the
the
Eastern Conference team?
No.
No.
I feel like it'll be the Lakers or the Clippers for sure
Right.
coming
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
on
Yeah.
top.
I think the Clippers will win. Has been my prediction since the beginning. The only way the Clippers weren't going to win is if it's a 1-16 thing. That was the only thing I thought they weren't going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about them. And Kawhi is going to be the MVP for his 3rd final with the 3rd team. Kind of crazy.
That's kind of crazy to think how he's been on 3 teams, but he's such an amazing player. Like, why
Yeah.
does he keep moving? Like,
Yeah.
that's really crazy. But he's succeeded with all of them. So
I
I mean,
know. I remember watching him 2014 lock up LeBron James in Cancun, Mexico. I was there for that NBA Finals. I know you went over, I don't know, spring break or something, but I was there 2014 watching that finals. And me, my uncle, my cousin, we were all there. We were all watching. And we're like, who is this guy, Kawhi Leonard? Why is he just logging up LeBron? But anytime he check into the game, LeBron was like, crap. Like, you saw it, and I was like, who is this kid? And then you see him in Toronto doing it there, now here in LA, just going crazy.
yeah, I feel like the Spurs, he was a young kid, so I guess he was more of a role player then because you had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and you had
Yeah.
everyone else. But with the Clippers, it's a whole different scenario because he's the leader of this pack.
Mm-hmm.
And he's able to do it really well.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm really hoping that Kawhi can do well. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm very torn between who I want to win because there's so many reasons I want all these teams to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the one who deserves it the most should win.
Yeah. In the NBA, you
Plays
can
well.
like players more than you can like teams. I feel like it's hard in like the NFL to like a player and not like the team they're on. But like
Mm-hmm.
in the NBA, it's pretty simple. Like if you like the player, the team's gonna be good because they're good.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I'm so excited. Basketball's best. Sports are back, man. I'm so happy. I mean, it's crazy.
I can stop watching Netflix and I can finally continue and watch basketball and
Yeah.
sports. I'm
I
really
mean,
excited.
no more sports movies. You don't have to like recreate the feeling with a High School Musical. Like I've literally
Honestly.
done this. I've watched High School Musical fast forward to like the basketball game, or like with High School Musical 3, just watch the beginning and turn it off, just for the sports. It's bad, man. Like, yeah. Also, I want to get your opinion. Giannis to the Warriors this free agency.
I'll be really happy. Okay,
That would be.
I'm a Steph fan as well. So I like the Warriors winning and run. Am I a
He's just a
bandwagon
fan of
fan?
anyone
No.
that's good. I just want to. I'm
No, no,
kidding.
no.
I'm
Okay.
kidding. I'm
I'm
kidding.
not
I'm
a
kidding.
bandwagon fan. My number one team will always be the Hornets. But when it came to like the Warriors versus Cavs debate, I was always on the Warriors.
Yeah.
I
I just
think
hated LeBron, so I was like, go Warriors. Because he always beats the freaking Celtics. Like, don't be the Celtics, and I'll like you. That's simple.
I would really want to say that because I guess Giannis is kind of like a KD, but he's also not a KD. So
Yeah.
really interesting how he would fit back into that group, especially as Clay is coming back, Steph is coming back from injury. There'd be a lot of little kinks they would have to figure out because Giannis would be the healthy player. He would be the one. I guess he would have less pressure on him because Steph and Clay, they'll be like, well, they're coming off from injury. They might take a little bit to like come back. But Giannis would have to be the one who has to really.
I mean, all they have to do
I'm not
is.
sure if it's the best decision for him because then he has two players who you have Steph, who's for sure Hall of Famer, who's probably going to be the highlight of that team rather than Giannis. He might have to take a step back in his playing. I'm not sure if
He's going to get a max contract, take a step back. I mean, look, here's what I'm saying.
I don't know if we'll get a max contract because they're going to have to reduce budgets and everything this year.
No. This is literally the situation. They only have to get rid of $5 million. So that they just have to get
$5 million.
Yeah, because they traded away D'Angelo Russell, who was $30 million. They need $35 million for his max. True. So they only need to move $5 million from somewhere on the bench.
They can get 5.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like he's gonna get a max. Okay, you would win a championship because how can you defend Giannis inside? He'll play at center. Okay.
And then you have Steph shooting from outside.
Clay, Draymond, and you just pick up some small forward. Or you can play freaking Giannis at small forward and pick up a bogus center. Like
I love how the Warriors never had a good center.
Yeah, like it's
Andrew
like
Bogut was like not the best.
JaVale McGee, David Lee, like it's
their centers were just like whatever, you're just there.
Yeah, you're just there to rebound and play defense. We don't need you for anything else. But yeah, I've been looking at that because I was like, how can the Warriors afford a max slot? It just didn't make sense to me. How could the Warriors do that? Because you're paying Steph $200 million.
Steph a max, yeah.
He doesn't have a max. He has $200 million. There's no max in Steph's contract. Clay is $127 million. Draymond's $100 million. And I was like, where are you pulling the money from? They're like the max. I don't know. It's like
because they're not paying anyone else anything.
Yeah. That was unbelievable. So that's a headline I'm interested in. I want to see how the new free agency period affects Giannis's decision. Because this summer
is shorter as well.
Yeah. So this summer was supposed to be the summer of Giannis Antetokounmpo. It was just him. That was the big fish. Whoever got him, whether you're the Lakers, you get him, the Clippers, you get him, the Warriors, you get him. Like the Bucks retain him. I don't think he'll stay in Milwaukee. But
okay. If Bucks win, he stays. If Bucks don't make the finals, then he leaves.
Yeah, I can see that. The Bucks have to win. I feel like that's the only way he's gonna stay.
Make the finals. Maybe not win, but at least if he makes the finals, then he'll stay. But if he loses in semifinals like the Celtics, I think he's gone.
Yeah. I just don't see him staying if they don't win or if they don't make a move in free agency. Because like that team is just Giannis right now, and they don't surround you with a shooter. Like that's why the Warriors just make so much sense to me. You have guys who just space the floor. Who Steph loves to passes like just unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Clay doesn't even need the ball. You just catch and shoot, right? You just give it to him with 1 second on the shot clock.
He doesn't need to dribble.
Right. It's just a catch and shoot type of guy. I think in a game he scored more points than he had dribbles. Like that's just the kind of player he is.
Game.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to dribble the ball. He doesn't need to. Like so it just makes so much sense in my mind. And if you don't win the finals and Milwaukee doesn't add another piece, I just feel it'd just be so easy for Giannis to say, why don't I go to a team that's going to space the floor, going to get me the ball, going to pay me, and I'm going to win a championship.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think anyone's going to fault him either. Like, people faulted KD because they had him 3-1 and then lost. Like, that's why I think people faulted KD. It wasn't – if KD had played for the Wizards –
that's why.
Yeah, if KD had played for the Wizards and, like, they weren't doing anything, but he was still a great player and then came to the Warriors, no one would have cared. Yeah. Right? But, yeah, I'm interested to see how the shorter period affects Giannis's decision because that rushes Milwaukee's timeline. Like I said, if you don't win the finals, you have to go out and get somebody.
You have to go boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Figure out what you're doing next,
And that also causes team to figure out how to make cap space quick. Like, there is no waiting. Negotiations are going to go faster. Like, that's so interesting. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
They've had a lot of time to think about this stuff. So I assume that he already has some sort of a decision made in his head.
Right.
That it could be affected by what the season plays out or not. I feel like a lot of these players whose contracts were like about to expire, like player options or whatever,
Hmm.
they've really thought about whether or not they want to be traded or whether or not they want to go to a different
Yeah. No, but teams are gonna be yearning for cash, right? You're gonna have to cut quick,
hmm
quick, quick. Negotiations, I'm sure, have to go a little faster. The draft, like all that, like you don't even know. The draft
The
is
draft is like gonna be like a week after the season
yeah,
pretty much ends.
exactly. So then you have to figure out what you want to do that quickly. Like it's so crazy. Your scouts, like you can't. Your scouts and your team will not be in the same place for the
hmm
next 3 months. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
it'll come down to a gut feeling at that point. They can't go through too much of details and like analyzing. They
Yeah,
just have to
because
be like, do we want this player? Yes, no, move on.
right,
Like,
we didn't even have a full NCAA season, so you don't know what their tournament could have
yeah,
been like. That's
you have to go off of just what was
yeah. This
happening.
is
You
where we're
can't
gonna
go
show
off of whether they
GMs.
want or not.
This is gonna show how GMs like how good you really are. Like, are you just a
hmm
guy who's able to? Okay, well he's clear, boom, or are you a guy who's like
Yeah.
really able to have that gut feeling and say this is our dude? Wow, this affects a lot. I didn't even think about. I just think about the playoffs, and then we start talking about Giannis.
Yeah.
Now it's just like this entire situation.
There's so much that goes into a basketball team, just one team. There's 30 of them. And then there's so many other people besides like the 15 players on the roster. Like,
Yeah, because the season, the latest they said it can end October 27th, and it starts
yes,
December
that's
1st.
if there's just no. So I was also shocked that they're playing a full postseason. I thought they would cut
Yeah,
off the first and second rounds of like 3 games or like 5 games. The fact
yeah.
that they're still going to 7 is really crazy. Because I feel like it would be better off if they just didn't play all
Yeah.
7,
I
at
feel like
least
players
for
won't
like the
play
first
full
round.
sevens. Like in the first round, if LeBron and AD will like switch off games at some point. I
They
mean,
really could switch off.
because think about it, you got October 27th, and then December 1st is your start date. So, but
You're not traveling, so you're losing that time of travel. You're playing in the same city,
oh,
so
that's
you can
true too.
play much like
Quicker games. Yeah,
yeah. But it depends on how many courts they are playing on.
yeah,
I don't
that's
know
true
how
too. I don't know. I've
they're
never
doing that.
seen that complex before.
Neither have I. But I'm not even sure if they would they play multiple games at once. I'm not really sure about that.
Yeah,
Maybe regular season they
well, they've
might have.
done that before and just streamed it on different TV channels.
Yeah, but this isn't like summer league. It's like the NBA.
Right,
Like
but they've done playoff series at different times and stuff. I don't know,
I
cause
don't know, but like if all the courts like in the same like
yeah,
complex,
no,
like
I see
they're
what you're
all like
saying.
next to each other, if they're lined
Right,
up,
right.
then would they play multiple, or they only play like maybe two, like one in each corner,
Yeah, I don't know.
and just have quick rotations between
Does
like who has to
ESPN
get on
own all the
time?
TV rights to this because they're playing in
I
their same?
assume.
Then they can because if ESPN's the only thing showing it, then you got one
Yeah.
channel. If there's no TNT,
Disney.
there's just Disney Channel.
Yes, Disney
Yo,
Channel. Oh my
fine.
gosh,
We
they're
gotta
streaming on
turn back on
Disney
Disney
Plus.
Channel. Oh my God, we gotta turn it back on. No, dude, that means no. If ESPN owns all the rights, that means there's no like Chuck and Ernie and that whole crew in TNT.
No, I feel like they'll still do that. I feel like they'll have to
They
give out
need
rights.
to. Those guys are hilarious. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's wild. I love how we were talking just about the playoffs, and then it's kind of branched
hmm
off to like every little thing that's gonna happen
Well,
even
I mean,
after the season.
it all connects, I guess.
Yeah,
Like one thing leads to another, one thing affects one another. So
imagine being Adam Silver. I mean,
I would go nuts.
yeah. No wonder. I don't know if he had hair before, but I'm sure he lost hair because of this job.
Very good reason.
I mean, no one's blaming you if you lose hair because you're the NBA commissioner.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I appreciate you being on the podcast. Thank you so much.